and Seb rolling down the road. RGT riding shotgun, a heavy load. Pastor Longhorn waiting to unfold. In El Paso, Texas, tales been told.
Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Now, maths says this is episode number 237, but I've never been very good with maths. With me, George, and this week, I'll confess to you guys, you know we're in the cult. Seb's getting a pedicure. Scotty, I don't know what Scotty's doing. I think he thinks he's on holiday, but he fell over in the cleaning cupboard as he inhaled half a tin of Brasso. RGT and Bobby are on the outside, obviously arranging to bust us out this cult. I don't know why, because I'm trying to get them in the cult so we can go to the Great Ascension. But in the meantime, I'm doing Pastor's laundry. So here's his socks, and in this basket. No, not again. All
right, George.
Not again.
I managed to get in.
No.
I'm in.
No.
I'll tell you what. All these 30 pants in here is unbelievable.
No.
It's me.
No.
Oh, God, what's that yellow stain? Oh, God, that's disgusting. All right, George. I managed to get in. They were doing the laundry out of town, so I quickly hid in the laundry.
When the kid in Drop Dead Fred, Imagine Their Imaginary Friend, they got Rick Mail.
Mm-hmm. You got me covered in skinny pants.
Here's my imagination. While you're here,
yes,
you better help me pull a show together. So you're gaming guru. Actually, it should be the other way around. You're funky smelling toe jam to my gaming guru. How's it going? Imagined co-host.
Apart from smelling like an old sock, yeah, I'm really well.
Okay, well, to that end, is it really you?
Certainly is.
Are you sure? Because last week I imagined you as Tumbleweed and cursed myself. Mm-hmm. And this week I imagined you sort of appearing in Pastor's laundry basket like Groucho the Grouch from Sesame Street.
Yeah, I've almost appeared like that episode of Red Dwarf where Rimmer's head come through the table. Don't panic, it's only me.
Wow. I mean, for those Red Dwarf fans across the world, they just punched the sky at that oblique reference. But Rampage Talk just heard the word Rimmer. He slid straight into your DMs, pal. With that said and done, can you hear me okay, imaginary friend?
I certainly can, yeah.
Good, okay. With all that said and done then, and now I'll know if you are real or not, because I know what my imaginary friend would have been playing this week. What have you been playing?
Not very much on the...
No.
Latest gen.
No. You're real. Okay, fine.
Yep. I've been playing, well, I say that, I've been playing more of the Super Arcade Soccer. So I've completed the sort of career mode on that as such, but then it opens up to, you know, get to represent your team as the England World Cup team.
Do we need to use some of the show's rapidly accruing funds to get you like a modern system, like a PS5 or something? What's going on?
I'm playing this on the PS5. Yeah. So I've put that hardware to good use. So they're romping about trying to get me to buy a Pro, and I'm playing an ex-mobile game on it that uses about 1 kilobit. So
yeah. So to your point last week, do we need a Pro? Well, not if you're playing Superstar Soccer.
No, not at all. That's just for me sensible soccer kick, really. But yeah, still enjoying that. It's getting tough, but yeah, it's really good.
Tell me about last week. I didn't really get to drill down on it because we had a few topics on the gamut to discuss. And obviously we had our American cousin with us. But talk to me about this. You talked about a career mode. You said it was a bit Billy Basic, but is it literally just play games and move up, or is there more to it than that?
Pretty much. I mean, it is just an easier modern version of sensible soccer. Even the crowd noises are really good. So it's very
well. They were famous in the time, weren't they? Because you know some of them were the CD versions had like chants, didn't they?
Yeah. So
what did you call it? Chants.
Chants. Yeah, not chance. Chance.
As if by chance.
chance. Yeah. So you literally, it's just very basic career. You're just a guy walking past a football club. It's going out of business. You manage to buy it off the current owner for £1, and then you manage the team. You have to get up through the amateur league, semi-league, right up to their version of the Premier League and win that. And that's all a bit comic book. And there's this rich owner of a rival club who tries to stop you from getting to the top. And
there are some sort of like story elements incorporated.
Yeah, very light. And then once I've done that now, and they've said, typical sort of 80s comic book style, we're going to abandon the England team because your team's done so well. We want you to represent England. So I'm now in the World Cup. So you just go on to each game. But the thing I like about it is they have like mods on each game, and that will tell you what it is. So some games will have an oil slick and mud patches on the pitch, so you'll either get stuck or slip over. Other games will have meteors hit you. Other games will have speed squares, so you get faster.
Mate, I apologise. I thought this was just some throwaway sort of fun, almost comic book football game. I didn't realise it was a simulation.
No, maybe the mud is, but yeah. But then you've got different pitches. You've got indoor pitches where the ball don't go out and bounce off the walls and stuff. And there'll be ones where there's even silly things like that. You'll have sleeping goalkeepers sometimes, so the keepers are both snoring, so you can just kick, and then that's whoever can.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah, that's odd, but really funny.
Super simulation.
Yeah.
Another question I had is we kind of got into the talk about Sensi and I wanted to get a bit more into this. I'm glad you're still playing it. The Sensi ball control.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how that compares to this, because I think last week you said it was more forgiving. In what way?
It's more forgiving. You got to remember, originally Sensible Soccer was made for a joystick. So when you converted that to control pad, it was a bit of a fun knuckle breaker when you're trying to bend the ball from long shots. Although you have to get used to playing it on a Mega Drive or Jaguar, whatever you played it on in the day, rather than the Amiga. It was more for that, really bending the ball around with the joystick. So this is more forgiving because it is obviously designed for a control pad. Whereas Sensi, there was almost a routine to Sensi where you could go diagonal, come in and get that ball from an angle and curl in. Whereas this one, you've got a lot more after-touch. So you can pretty much hit it anywhere. You can really control the ball more afterwards. So it's
Oh, really?
So you don't have to follow. You can hit them from anywhere and really bend the ball in. It's really good. It's really good fun. So I think I still haven't played it in multiplayer yet. I think the multiplayer you can play online or couch co-op. I think it would be really good fun. If you had a few friends around for like a little mini tournament, this is brilliant. And I think this game's $7.99 on the PS Store, and I've put 25 hours in.
Question for you, and I know this sounds a little bit sort of illegal nowadays, but is it on Switch? Got to be.
Yes, I think it was on Switch first before it came over to. It was originally mobile, then it was ported to Switch, and then
like all the very best Switch games.
Oh yeah, that's where
I found myself in the store this week. Booted the Switch up, was having a little sniff around on it. I found myself in the store, and I stumbled across a Gold Rush game on there, mate. But it was a mobile Gold Rush game. Buckle up, cowboy. Wow. Yeah, I think the Switch, they're not going to, but, those ports, they look so good and the videos look so good. And then if you have the misfortune of downloading one, you realise your mistake immediately. Less of my gaming store shenanigans, more of what you've been playing, sir. Give me more.
I will just add to that. If you get these you get the eShop is absolutely filled with these rubbish mobile games, which are actually rubbish on the mobile.
It's killed the mobile store. It's killed the Switch store for me.
Yeah. But if you get like this developer, I can't remember what they're called. I think it's 1-Bit or 1-Bit Pit. I can't remember. They're the ones who've done, like I said last week, Full Void on the Evercade. They're actually passionate, really good developers who had to start on mobile because that was all they could afford. But then they've brought the game up, and you can see their influence. Sometimes you will find that a really good developer has started on mobile and brought the game over rather than just cash grab 99p games that are not.
It sounds a bit like Show's friend M. Dickey. Tap them up. If they've got something interesting to talk about, let's get them on.
Yeah. I've heard them on another podcast. They're really interesting, and yeah, it's amazing where they're going to, and where they come from brilliantly. But anyway,
it'd be interesting to hear their journey. What else have you got?
I had a bit of a spate of playing In the Hunt, which was the, if you like, Metal Slug. It's like the submarine Metal Slug game, which was on the PS1 and the Saturn. But I've played the Evercade port, because obviously that is quite a lot of money, that game. But yeah, I had a clean run and managed to get that through. I played the arcade port, but that game is brilliant and looks absolutely fantastic, that game. Really.
I love a submarine game, but I don't think that's going to scratch the itch for me, is it? I want to be setting dive planes and, run silent, run deep. It's periscope up, periscope down. I presume this is just basically a shmup.
Well, this is Metal Slug in a submarine, yeah. And that's by IREM, so it was by the original guys. I think a certain amount of them went off to create the developers who'd done Metal Slug, so you can see that influence in this game. But yeah, brilliant game. Runs awesomely on, because we were talking about this on Discord with Carlos, because he's got a brilliant import collection, Saturn and God knows what other consoles.
He's well into it, isn't he?
Oh, he is, and he's got the Saturn version, but he said that gets a hell of a lot of slowdown on the Saturn. You don't hardly get any slowdown on the Evercade.
I think that's where me and Roast Space Monk went into hyper interrogation mode on the Discord, and we're like, "Tell me about your VRAM. Tell me about your card.
Have you got a RAM card in? Show us your RAM. Show us your RAM."
You want me to get more passionate on the Discord? Get more passionate on the Discord. Now you're telling me off.
I just loved it, because as soon as there's a RAM card mentioned, I could just hear your thumbs on the phone. Oh, go on, show us your RAM card. Show us your RAM card. Yeah.
That's me typing for all those that haven't seen our show in person. The audio version, the video version is on its way.
But I was also playing a puzzle game, which you're just going to take the mickey out of me, because I play really old stuff as well, and you're just going to laugh. But
Is it Sam Fox Strip Poker?
Oh, damn. Let me announce the games I'm playing.
Oh.
There was that and Centerfold Squares. If you know, you know.
On Constreener.
No, I wasn't playing that. I was playing Magical Drop 2. I was playing. I got a bit addicted to that. That's a bloody good game, actually, puzzle game. But
Falling Gems, or is it puzzle arranging? What is that?
It's pretty much you can capture the different colour orbs, and then you fire them up to clear the areas before it comes down and squashes you, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
You can do a little story mode against a AI competitor, and you fight off. So it's just basic sort of arcade port from Japan, but yeah, really good fun. And last one I've really enjoyed playing. I mean, this has
been a little picky wiggy this week, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Moon Patrol, that old game, Moon Patrol. Never played it before. I mean, I'm going right back now, but I tell you, I
don't want to Google it because it's not my way. Give me a bit more griff so I can get it in my mind.
Oh, Moon Patrol is an old arcade game where it's almost Spectrum-esque graphics, and you're in a moon buggy going from left to right, and you can jump, and then you can shoot the UFOs as well. It's like a high score game. You have to keep getting as far as you can. You have letter markers and a little map on the top, and you have to keep triggering them to then carry on. They're like your levels. And you have to avoid some UFOs will blow craters, and you have to jump the craters or shoot them. It's a very basic arcade game, but so addictive. I've never played that game before, and I've put quite a few hours into that.
I'm going to throw myself out on a limb here. I don't think I've played it. Was this on Evercade again?
This was on Evercade, yeah. Yeah, these, apart from Super Arcade Soccer, they're all on Evercade. But,
just to confirm, next week, the second part of the El Paso tapes is going to be scheduled for a release, in which I famously rip into Evercade owners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that. I don't think they'll be coming on the show, put it that way. But sorry, Blaze Entertainment, but I don't think you'll be coming on the show.
I regret everything I said, but I ain't got the budget to edit it out.
It's actually, you're right in some ways, and everyone agrees with you. It's aimed at collectors. It's aimed at numbered spines. They know what they're doing. But what you got to look from the other side is
that's like that. To be honest, mate, that's a little bit like walking into the Priory and then throwing Class A drugs around with gay abandon.
It is, but also the system is actually a very good system. It runs up to N64 and PS1 flawlessly. They've now done these giga carts, so you've got 3 PS1 games on one cartridge. I know I sound like a right nerd now, and that's why you're giggling into your T-shirt.
I'm not giggling into my T-shirt about that. Very good system, very powerful. But
but it is for
up to
what
the
the
level of
emulators are.
N64. I was like, oh,
That's good for technically an emulation device.
no, it is good. I tell you one thing that I saw to give Evercade their props was the Legacy of Kain collection pack they were doing.
Yeah.
I've always had a soft spot for that game. I think I waffled on about its history before, but
because there's two on that cart as well, isn't there? Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain on one little cartridge.
That's correct.
Which is quite impressive. Plus, you get a monthly game every month because you're on. It's obviously you can update it. They give you a free game every month you can play. So it's a good little system, a good little community around it. Another good thing as well, which at first I didn't like, was the controller. I thought the controller was a bit square, it's a bit cramped. But now I've played games on it. It's actually pretty decent controller. The D-pad's a bit of a Sega Saturn Mega Drive disc, D-pad. Buttons are a bit similar to Xbox 360, I suppose, that sort of glossy button. But that actually plays really well, a controller. I know they're wired, but you can use 8-bit doos on there, whatever you want, really. But I've sort of
talk to me. Have you got the handheld of it as well?
No, I have played on a handheld. I've played on.
So that's a totally separate system. It's not like a hybrid system. Then it's literally you have your home console. If you want to, you can pony up and spend even more money on a handheld version.
Yeah. So you can. Cartridges fit anything.
So just to frame this up in a little bit of kind of like a user-centric, the listeners like, oh, Evercade, I don't know. And I don't know either. So just for clarity, that handheld, can it be docked or used on a TV, or is it literally a handheld only? Because I'm just thinking, if you're sitting on the fence about Evercade and you're like, oh, well, I don't know. I kind of want the handheld, but it means I'm playing it on the couch and sometimes I might want it on the big screen. Is it locked or does it have a USB out or anything?
They've got two handhelds out. And they've got two consoles out at the moment, and they're also following up with an arcade. A little bar.
God. You don't have to own all the machines as well. I suppose a serious Evercade collector RGT has got to have everything.
Yeah, I won't be having all that, he says.
Give it time. Give it time.
As I'm on Amazon.
I know you better than you know yourself.
The original handheld has, correct me if I'm wrong, has a HDMI out so you can connect to the telly.
Hang on, hold still. Just a little bit of pasta's skid has transferred to your forehead. It's a little bit distracting for me.
I thought I'd missed when I was shaving.
Yeah, it wasn't chocolate for sure.
Yeah, I thought I'd missed when I was shaving when I had a moustache, but I realised that wasn't stubble. So I think it's got an HDMI out on the on the original handheld, but I think on the newer handheld they've taken it off to save battery. So yes. Because I think they're trying to. The same with I've got the Versus R console, which is the cheaper home console, which I paid £90 with the Tomb Raider pack for mine. So they've sort of tried and trimmed it down a bit. So, what are you giggling at again?
Your Tomb Raider pack. What's on that? 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, and
that's
then I've been buying other cartridges as well. I mean, some of them I paid like £8 for.
What gaps have you got in your spine collection?
Well, I tell you what as well, which they do, which is quite crafty, but I quite enjoy looking at it. Whenever you put a cartridge in, there's actually an onboard library of all the cover art of all the games, and it ticks off your games as you go. So I think I've got 5 out of 61 cartridges at the moment. So, but I've got Data East, I've got the IREM collection.
This is not going to end well for you, is it?
No.
Because if there's a blank space to put something, you're going to put some in there. And the only thing you can put in that hole is your dirty Evercade cart.
Yeah.
But, you've only got 5 out of 60. You aren't sleeping. I'm
trying, and I am really trying. I mean this honestly. I'm trying to just buy the ones I want. But I know as that gets up to 20 or 30, I'll be thinking, oh, hang on, I've got 30, 32, 33, 34. Probably better get 31 just to fill that gap in. So, but at the moment,
be honest, if you don't, not only I, but the listeners will be thoroughly disappointed in you.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the other way around. Be disappointed if I did just absolutely hammer myself with FK cartridges.
I'll be honest, if you don't come back on next week with a full set, a remortgaged house and a divorce, you're not really trying.
But any order of them three, or
Get the divorce first.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, I'll just text her. Hang on, just bear with me.
No, do it after the show. I don't want it to
Oh,
hear
okay.
it there. It'd be
Okay.
embarrassing for us all. Is that it? Is that your full? Because that's quite a list, sir, if I may be so bold. There's a lot there.
I've just been getting home and just putting the Evercade on and playing through something, because you can have 2 cartridges in at once. So you've instantly got, like 20 games on there. You love me nerding out on this. And I'll tell you another fact as well. There's 9 hidden games. So if you put 2 certain cartridges in, that finds a hidden game for you. How's about that then?
Which cartridges do you need to obtain to unlock the hidden game?
I don't know, because they're hidden. There's 9 hidden games, depending on cartridges.
Mate, come on. Are you telling me that some absolute nerd on the Reddit hasn't uploaded it and all the different combinations required to get that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I expect they have somewhere. I haven't looked myself, but I do check sometimes if there is a hidden game, but it says discovered none of 9 at the moment, so but we'll see. But yeah, so I don't know what to get next for that. Maybe sort of Duke Nukem. There's 2 Duke Nukem sets. I might get there, and that'd be quite good to play. Full Void's another one I want to get. So
the Duke Nukem games, is it the 16-bit sort of side-scrolling games in one pack, and the 3D kind of PS1 early 386, 486 kind of Doom clones on another one, or
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's done like that, and then I think there's one. I think the 3D one also has the Game Boy Advance one on as well, I believe.
Now you're really playing with power.
That's gonna bring the motion sickness in as you're going through at 2 frames per second. You've just blown up a Game Boy Advance screen to 65
I had an
inches.
OG Game Boy Advance when I used to live away a lot, and I'll be honest with you, it wasn't long before I immediately trained at it for a PS1 on a screen. Those games are all right, but they're not, they're good for a pick up and play, throw about, kind of quick 10 minutes here and there, but you're not losing yourself on it. No. And I think I might have had Doom on it.
Yeah.
If memory serves. It was okay. I should imagine Duke Nukem, it's 5 years after Doom in terms of when it made its sort of way out there. I think Duke Nukem's going to be... Let us know if you've got Duke Nukem on the original Game Boy Advance. I want to know all about it. How's it play? My memory's playing tricks on me. And if you've got it as part of the Evercade collection, let me know how that performs, because it needs to be true to the original format, so it needs to play like absolute dog mess. It did on the, you go back to the original Game Boy and play one of those 3D shooters, RGT, you kind of like, you're getting us in contract danger with Evercade. Sue me, Evercade.
Yeah.
So really, I ought to regale you with what I've been playing.
Yes.
Star Wars Outlaws. Finished it. And
I wondered if you were still going to hang off on that final mission, but
no. I thought to myself, it's time to get this done. So I took it to completion, to be honest. I enjoyed it. Again, I said this on the Discord. If you like Star Wars, you need this. If you don't, you just do yourself a favour. You'd be wasting your time. Why would you buy a game for a franchise that you don't care about? You wouldn't, unless you're bored, in which case, have a look in your back catalogue. Star Wars Outlaws, fun little game. I finished it now, and I'm just floating around doing the side missions. And in a way, a bit like Horizon Forbidden West, the side missions are sometimes more often than not presented in a way that feels like they're part of the game. Some of the chunkier side missions as well, you do feel like, even though you're in the post-game part of the game, you do not have that kind of dead feeling as much. I don't know whether it's just my nostalgia. I don't know if it's a Star Wars, because it's doing nothing different. But yeah, I'm flying around. The other day, I got the guide out now. It's done. I did have to use the walkthrough on a couple of the stealth sections, admittedly. But I got the guide out when it was done, because I thought, I know I've seen a trophy specifically for beating Lando at Sabak. But I did the Lando mission, but never got to face him mano a mano at the Sabak table. And when I looked in the guide, you have to use one of the Sabak cheats he teaches you, and then use that to win a game, because I always flat out refuse to use the cheats, because it's easy to win without them. But I used the cheat. I won the game. Immediately, you get a phone call from Lando or some poor Lando imitation voice actor. I'll be honest with you. Sounds like Deep South Lando, if I'm honest, but there you go. True story.
Hi there, boy.
Howdy, young boy. Right, Lando, what's happened here?
Yeah.
Set yourself down at the back table. I'd rather not, but okay.
That's a weird thing as well, though, because that's how tight some of these trophies are as well, aren't they? Because without a guide, you'd have never known that you'd had to use Lando's cheat
because
to trigger the Lando bit to get them to play Lando.
And because I was thinking, why can't I play Lando? Because I've done his mission. Like I damn near rescued the whole Rebel Alliance. I would have thought he wouldn't be anti-playing me at a quick game as Sabak. If he's as good as he says, he's going to not only will have saved the day, but he's also emptied my pockets of credits. One would imagine for Lando, that's him going to bed feeling like he's had a good day's work. But no, he just left me to it, discarded me like a used rag. I felt like, do you know who I felt like? I felt like Lobot. A man that lobotomized himself, inserted robot componentry into himself. I don't know if he was tortured. This is Star Wars lore, forgive me. Pull up a chair. But he's that guy that's running around Empire Strikes Back with the shaved head and the flashing lights.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only person I could cosplay as from Star Wars, Lobot. Wow. I've peaked.
An LED strip on your forehead.
Basically, that's what I'm going to do. Just slap. They're not going to flash, mate. To be honest, I ain't got the budget for that. I'm just going to stick a couple of blue and red stickers on the side of my temple.
Nice.
Put this headset on in front of my eyes, a bit like Geordie LaForge. I'm Lobot, dude. Anyone else there follically challenged? Just sorted your Star Wars cosplay. Yeah, you don't need to be a stormtrooper.
Budget.
Just be low. Budget low.
Budget cosplay.
Who you come as? Tertiary character in the Star Wars universe known as Lobot. Screen time.
Little Lobot.
58 seconds. You'd get more recognition coming as Salacious Scrum, wouldn't you? Yeah! Yeah, that dude. So, yeah, all in all, enjoyed it. Still enjoying it. I'm glad I've got it done, though. Looking forward to maybe tucking into a bit of Astrobot now. I kind of got into that routine of not finishing a game before starting another game. And it's amazing how that kind of compounds every single problem you have when you're playing. Like, my backlog. Suddenly you're juggling 5 games. You're still whinging about your backlog and you're not making forward momentum on any of them. I wonder why.
Oh,
so,
no. I've
Star Wars
so many times.
Yeah, I've got in a bad way with it this year. Kind of like waiting for big releases. So you go in the back catalogue, you get, 20% into a game. Then that game you've been waiting for comes out. Maybe it doesn't hit like it does. So you've half started that but not finished it. Then you're like, oh, I'm a bit bored, but I fell off the wagon with that and that. So I'm going to go in the library and pull this out and start playing this. Oh, it's not as good as I thought. So you've got like 10 games on the go, none of which are compelling.
You've done an hour and a half of each.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it was time to knock that kind of carry on the head and get back to that traditional man who finishes games type lifestyle that I was living in the OG era of the show. And long may it continue. That's as exciting as I've been this week, I think. Yeah, now that's kind of scratched off. I'm going to leave it on the hard drive because it's a nice game on the portal just to totter around on. But yeah, Astrobot's the next scalp. I suppose I'm curious, because I've activated this clause in your contract several times now, and you've rebuffed me every time. So I'm going to give you this basically, cowboy, is the swinging door into what is colloquially known in podcasting's last chance saloon. Does it go again? Oh, yeah. Oh, RGTL is like the Lone Ranger riding on down. Bring hidden gems to me. Woo!
Wow. That was the B-side version.
I was channeling like my inner Paul McCartney in the Woo. He kind of sat there spread-eagled. I'll be honest with you. I think that's called man-spreading. I don't like it. It's a bit intimidating to me. I'll suggest you just put your knees together. I don't know why. I understand it was probably quite hot in the laundry basket being brought in to the compound. But I'll be honest, consider this what's known in the industry as a verbal warning. If I see you come in here again, in a crotches. I mean, I write this script. I can't say it.
Yeah.
In a crotchless leopard skin leotard, again, you're done.
That's all I could find in the bottom of his laundry basket. I went in the buff and I just slid into this bad boy.
I never thought I'd be grateful for a crotchless. What's happened to me? We normally deliver it flawlessly, completely dead plan. I don't know.
No giggle, I've got two teenagers.
I've never been so great. Where's the script here, George? George hyphen. I've never been so grateful for a crotchless leopard skin leotard in my life before.
There you go. I'll tell you what, I think I'll wear it quite well considering a size 8.
You did that. How come you're nailing all your lines flawlessly dead plan? I keep calling it dead plan as well. I don't know what that is. It's like a flan that never got cooked. It's probably gone off with a little bit cream mold on the edge. So anyway, Hidden Gem, what you got? Let's play the guessing game. I don't know if it's been a while since you've been on with Hidden Gem, sir. So what we normally do is you say some bits and bobs.
Oh,
and
okay,
I am the audience.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I'm the audience identification person here.
Okay.
Some people have never heard any of this before. And if you survive this long, we're about to play a little game. If you get through this, you might be into the show. All right?
Might pull you back in after the leopard skin crotchless leotard.
Yeah. I think if we could have nailed that flawlessly, completely deadpan and just moved on to the Hidden Gem, it would have been nailed. But
we'll edit it out. We'll edit it out.
No, we won't, because I spent the editing budget on Tipex. I know that sounds like it's used for the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the first thing?
I won't say the dev or the publisher because you'll get it straight away, right? But this is.
I think you afford me too much knowledge, sir.
No, you will do. You will do. But this is PS3 game from 2013.
Oh.
This is action adventure drama game, and this is one of my favourite games of all time, and I know this is a game that you revere very much.
Has it got William Dafoe in it?
It's got Willem Dafoe in it, yeah. It is developed by Quantic Dream.
Who's the other actor in it?
Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elliot Page. Published by Sony. Yeah, this you could have a guess, or do you want me to say?
Is it Life is Strange?
Yes, well done. Yeah, no, because it isn't. You know damn well what it is. It is Beyond Two Souls.
Mate, honestly, I'm so glad you've wheeled this out. What an absolute banger. God, for the audio listeners, RGT's just held up the Steelbook, which is, I think, actually a nice ode to the package. And correct me if I'm wrong, RGT, but if people wanted to get on board with this game, I know I'm skipping you past the synopsis straight to the price, but the Steelbook's not even ridiculous, is it?
Now, if you get a standard copy of this, you can pick a standard copy up £2 to £5 on PS3. There is obviously the double pack, the Heavy Rain on PS4.
That's less than £10.
Yeah, but if you want this Steelbook special edition, £5 to £10, but you'd normally pick it up £6, something like that, £6-7.
So we've already afforded this high praise. Do you want to just give the listeners a little bit of a synopsis?
Yeah, this is when you play this game. First of all, I'll say two things you'll notice. We've spoke about this before. We spoke about this on the Discord. Me and George have spoken about this game a lot. And I think it's worth a hidden gem because I think a lot of people have heard of this game, but not a lot of people have actually gone and played it. It's a well-known game. It sold 2.8 million copies, but it's not many people have played it. And I urge you to play it. And I'll say that you'll notice similarities between Stranger Things, which I believe this did help with the writing and the idea of that.
Yeah.
And also it's got such a fantastic story, but if you play it, make sure you play it in the original. This is my opinion. Make sure you play it in the original timeline mode, which takes you from.
Now I
do not play this in the mode of her timeline. Just do it in the random timeline mode because it just sets the story up so well. Plucking bits of her
I
life.
Misheard you. I thought you were telling the listeners to play it in the chronological order, but playing it in Elliot Page's kind of the way it gets displayed to us in the game.
Yeah,
it feels mismatched, but when you finish, the actual feeling is
so good.
The payoff is better when you play it through chronologically, i.e., from the 80s through the 90s to the thousands. I think that's the sort of span this game has in these little interstitial sections.
So what basically saying is when
it loses the magic.
Yeah, what it will show you is, especially on, I would imagine the PS4 version's the same, but what this will basically do is it will have a sort of a timeline of her life, but it will take random sections and you'll just play them in this random order. So you'll go from when she's a little girl to when she's older and when she's back, and it's such a nice way of setting the story up.
I also, if I may interrupt one more time, what I also find it does is, because it doesn't flow seamlessly chronologically in the game, you experience it out of order. It leaves you with loads of like mini cliffhangers.
Yeah, exactly.
That leave you, and then you get two ones that don't follow on, and you're kind of thinking, well, kid version's still kind of stuck, and I'm desperate to get back and either save her or help save her or find out what I need to do to move it on.
So well written. It's brilliant.
Really good.
Yeah, it's so well done. But you play as Jodie, as from birth, she's had a entity attached to her, which is a playable character in this game. So you'll use it as like a psychic power. I won't say too much about it, so I don't want to ruin the story because this story is really good.
The emotional payoff, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's good.
Brilliant acting. You got William Dafoe in, who plays Nathan, who is like a bit like her father figure, but also researcher who's researching paranormal activity and the things.
He's well cast in this role because if you know anything about William Dafoe, you know he's a little bit of a scientist himself.
Yeah. And also, he's I was going to say something. I'm not going to say. But they spent a year in the studio in the the suits they use for
motion
cap. They spent a year doing this game.
I think it tells
perfect.
One of the standout scenes for that motion capture, and I can't remember where it falls within the game, is the section where you kind of are in the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
That section, to me, even on PS3, looks so good. And it's so well acted.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It looks very good for a PS3 game as well. But also, this was so well done, it was actually shown at a film festival. But it's a very emotional story. I mean, even RGT poked his eye at this. This got me going a bit, this game. It's a unique story. Like I say, it's great acting. And I just think it's definitely a hidden gem because I think it gets missed so much. It's always, if you go in a game store here in the UK, 9 times out of 10, you'll always see the double pack of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, and you can pick up, like I say, the PS3 version very cheap on eBay, but not many people tend to buy it, and I think that's why it's so cheap. But really, seriously, if you want a really good story and adventure and almost like a movie-like game to play, give Beyond Two Souls a go because it is absolutely fabulous game.
Is it David Cage's best work?
My two favourite games of his are this and Detroit Become Human. And we were talking about this the other week, and I try and sit down and think. I keep thinking and I think it is. I think Beyond Two Souls for me is For one,
about it, I think he did Nomad Soul on the Dreamcast, which I think also got a PC release, with notable for its originally penned soundtrack by David Bowie. His follow-up game was Fahrenheit, which saw an Xbox and PlayStation 2 release. That also recently got like a modern remaster, didn't it, in a way?
Yeah.
Next, I think out the gates was Heavy Rain.
Followed
by Beyond Two Souls, followed by Detroit Become Human, followed by his yet to be released or even sniffed at Star Wars game.
Yeah. I think for me, the top two games there are Detroit Become Human and Beyond Two Souls. And I think when you put them neck to neck, I think the Detroit Become Human was so good because it touched on that futuristic Android, is this the way we're heading, AI sort of theory, and what's ethical decisions they have to make, and you then have to make those decisions, which is good. But I think as a raw story and of the time and of the, like I say, it's almost like a movie-like game you play. I love Beyond Two Souls because it is so well acted, and it is that unique story that when, like I say, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, definitely play this because you'll see the influence in that there from this game. But it's also got that Sixth Sense bit.
Is this the best hidden gem you've ever brought to the table?
I don't know. That's down to people's opinion, I suppose. But I've been debating this one. It's been on the list for a long time, and then I thought, right, that's got. I'm
so glad you brought it in. Any chance to talk about this game, I relish. I love it, and I didn't really know that much about it going in, but it got me hook, line, and sinker.
Well, this actual copy, this steelbook, I got this sealed new. I was on holiday in Cornwall. There used to be a brilliant little shop called Console Connections in Truro, which is sadly gone now. And I used to always go in to see the guys in there. I paid £12 for that brand new copy, £12. I'd never heard of it. I bought it just because the steel tin looks amazing on the front. And then I had it sitting on my shelf for 6 months, and then I was off work. I had a back injury. I laid in bed, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to try that game. And I popped it in and I played it all the way through. And I just thought, wow, what a game. What an absolute
gem. Do you think the meds made it a little bit more 3D than it should have been?
Oh, totally. Oh, totally. I was off my face.
Okay, so a side order of Cocodamol on this game and you're in for a good time?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But no, definitely give it a go, especially for the price as well. It's cheap.
It's good enough where it feels current gen, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, please jump in and let us know on any of the communication forms, which we're going to give you post the news, on your thoughts on our GT's Hidden Gem. And if you've got any David Cage opinion or opinion about any of the games that we've talked about to this point, we want to hear from you without a shadow of a doubt. But in lieu of hearing from you, it's time for the news. We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, so the Pro can Pro. Bear with me, this is wordy, but after yesterday's rebuff, so yesterday, I mean last episode's rebuff of the Pro, I thought it to be sensible in here that we followed that up with some reported facts about the system. It's not going to bring the price down, but it certainly might negate that Lego-looking video that Sony showed us when they launched it. A little bit misguided, in my opinion, but here we go. Here come the early tech evaluations then. According to the experts at Digital Foundry, based on the several minutes of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth footage running on the PS5 Pro, the upgrade, in their words, is a night and day difference. We've already heard the murmurs and the improvements to this game in particular, which will run at 60 frames per second on Sony's yet-to-be-released supercharged system with a significantly improved image quality. We wanted evidence. Digital Foundry kicked the doors off. Here they are. The Square Enix title is a very interesting example because many people complained about its visuals in performance mode. The publisher did attempt to improve this with subsequent patches, but it always looks soft when running at 60 FPS. And if you want to have a look at the video that Digital Foundry have put together, you'll see it with your own eyes. As system architect Mark Cerny promised, the PS5 Pro solves these issues, offering a smooth frame rate with image quality on par with, and in some instances, better than the base version's PS5 30 FPS graphics mode. Once again, reading through the increasingly complex analysis, it seems like Sony's AI-based PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, we call it PUSA, is doing a lot of the heavy lifting taken a comparable internal resolution to the original and upscaling it effortlessly with a few compromises, very few compromises in image quality. Digital Foundry report does note that the technology struggles a little with the areas of shallow depth of field, but overall, they can see a remarkable increase in clarity and image quality. The report also notes that ghosting is no longer an issue on PS5 Pro, and even distant foliage appears more solid and dense on the upgraded appliance. But pop-in does remain an issue in the open world. Particle effects also appear cleaner and clearer in motion, while they're muddy on the standard PS5 console. All of this results in a dramatic difference. And it's probably worth emphasizing that the patch is unlikely to be finalized just yet. So maybe there's some more tweaks under the bonnet, listener. Still, based on these early results, we've got a meaningful upgrade here. PS5 Pro simply looks cleaner running at 60 FPS than on the base PS5. Whether that's enough to convince you to upgrade is another discussion, but there's no doubt for this game in particular, the new hardware is delivering a meaningful improvement. You can learn as well as browse some of those nifty screenshot comparisons for yourself on Eurogamer.net. Now, obviously, last week, RGT, we came in with the news. We came in with the opinion pieces that we have, being trusted industry gurus that we are. And we said, Sony, thanks, but no thanks. We don't see the improvements that you tout. Not in that video that they showed us anyway. I thought that was a very poor way of delivering the message. There was a PlayStation blog post that kind of showed these images still, but even then, it was hard to pull those images apart. Digital Foundry, being the gurus that they are, have obviously got themselves some access to the hardware and software in this instance, or a video that's certainly been touted as running at those levels, and they've done obviously all their usual tech analysis. As I said in the article, though, RGT, or in the report, yes, now maybe we can start to see some of these early upgrades actually work for the Pro and stick. But is the draw distance, pop-in quality, and foliage draw distance really enough to make you want to have another look at this, or is it all just not compelling enough for you?
Compelling enough, I'm afraid. I was thinking about this again yesterday. I'm really, especially with the current gen at the moment as it is, I'm very underwhelmed with the current gen, and I was trying to think of excuse me, the same timeline when I was on PS4, getting the PS4 Pro.
Just before Red Dead came out is where we are right now.
Yeah. And
just think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I want everyone to think about that for a minute, because if we're mapped to the same timeline as PS4, we're kind of around that sort of Spider-Man, kind of Red Dead era.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really have any exclusives on the PS4 at that point. Does that mean we've got more to come? And is that where we're going to see the Pro really show us what it can do?
Well, no, like I was saying, I'm so I was just thinking I had so much more excitement for the PS4 at this time than I have for the PS5, and there's nothing. I have little stages with the PS5 where I know it's my main system of the current gen, that and Switch, but there's nothing to grab me. It just seems this PS5 Pro is the wrong time, because I'm not. I'm probably at my lowest I've felt about the PS5 at the moment, and now they're trying to sell you another console, and you're like, hang on a minute. And this is what I said before. Bring some games out, then bring out the Pro. We've got a sparse year, and that's another bit of hardware which you're showing old games running on it. And I just think, yes, it may be better than what's been shown. Yes, it may really, really perform better than what people think, but $700 for a system that's making your old games look better, with nothing at the moment that's really going to blow our socks off coming up that we can play on it. It's just bad timing. I think it's just bad timing for me personally.
Hey, listen, I don't disagree. In fact, I think we're probably aligned on this. I kind of like to make sure everyone's getting their fair crack of the whip on the show. Developers, whatever. And I was aware that we probably didn't have any technical analysis. Obviously, there wasn't any on the Pro when we kind of brokered the Cerny news last week. But we've since had a little bit of technical analysis from the gurus at Digital Foundry. And I thought it would be meaningful to bring this in and see what a PS5 Pro upgrade actually looks like on a game that has been noted as actually struggling on base PS5. We've seen we've heard now the touted improvements that we can actually drill down and look at over on Eurogamer. Thanks, boys, for that, and obviously on YouTube's on Digital Foundry's YouTube channel. I, like you, though, I'm thinking, I've seen the stills on Eurogamer, Foundry, understand the tech, and I understand what we're seeing. But is it markedly going to change my experience of Final Fantasy? No. No, it's not. Is it going to significantly improve my experience of Final Fantasy? Maybe, but let's face it, at this point, we're talking marginal. I think, like you, we need to see something sexy. We need to see this gen's version of Days Gone showing us 20 zombies on the base PS5 and 150 on the Pro. That's the kind of level of significance.
It basically needs to show us and say, right, this is what the Pro can do. You can't do this on the 5.
Well, the problem
is what the Pro does.
The problem is
on the 5.
Yeah, now that's where we start heading into a bit of a problem, because much like the Series S and the Series X, Sony have basically just stealth deployed their Series X while we've all been playing their version of the Series S to this point. Therefore, ergo, Pro will be doing some cool stuff, but it'll always have a leash around its neck of the base PS5, throttling it back from going absolutely nuts. So that makes the issue a little bit worse, doesn't it?
And I was talking to Mrs. RGT, and she said, you're gonna get a Pro, and I said, no, I'm not. I don't think I am. As I am at the moment, no, I'm not. She said, what has surprised me? How come you've got your PS4 Pro and that? And I just said, it just doesn't seem a worthwhile upgrade. It doesn't seem it's $700 for an upgrade. Is it $700 worth of an upgrade? If that makes sense? No, it's not.
I think
I'd be buying it from a collector's point of view. I'd be buying it to say I've got it, and that's the only reason. And I don't want to buy it to say I've got it. I can spend $700 on something a lot better. I think I just can't see me getting the use out of it. I don't see where the money you'd spend to get one and pre-order one and get it. I don't see where you would get your monetary value back. You'd gain enough to warrant that purchase.
I think one of my fears is about the Pro is, I think you and I experienced this. The Pro was good. The Pro was a little bit too good in many ways. And when PS5 Pro launched, sorry, I misspoke. When PS5 launched, yeah, it was impressive, and yeah, it was an upgrade. And yeah, do you know what? We had a new home screen, but it took that pop away from the 5.
Yeah, that took that initial jump. Your jump should have been your 4K.
Yeah,
but we'd already had 4K.
Yeah, and Xbox released their mid-gen upgrade last year, which they seem to not be committed to this year. The One X. And it was powerful. But them not doing it this time round. I mean, did Sony do the Pro, or did they do or did Microsoft do the One X because they felt they both had to? And Microsoft this time thought, nah, I don't really need to. Those Xbox owners are going to see that uplift when they get their Series Y or whatever it's going to be when it comes out, which is going to be interesting for for them to have that sort of furore, because I think a lot of people jump to the X. I think my question really from that, and I've got myself thinking now, is did they just back themselves into a corner with those consoles?
I think they did, and I think that's exactly why Microsoft at the moment aren't doing one.
Because
I
look
think
at the
it's such a
sales
good decision.
returns. I don't think the One X, no doubt about it, technologically very capable piece of kit, still is. Right? So if you're listening, you've got the One X, chill out.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're knocking on the doors of a Series S as you are, so just chill out. But did that compel them to, need to one-up each other, I suppose, is the question I've got, either for you, RGT, or the listeners at home. And the sales return for the Pro, PS4 Pro, and the One X, compared to the base consoles they sold, was negligible. It was low. And do you know what rocks my boat with Sony the most is they obviously knew they'd made a bit of a mistake with the power of the Pro or its release window or whatever, because when 5 launched, the first console they scrapped wasn't the base PS4, which would make sense. The Pro got its throat slit, and they're still continuing to produce, or I don't know if they've stopped now. I'll need to check. But they're very close to ending the full production run of the 4 as well.
Yeah, they knew by then. Hang on, we need the PS4 owners to jump to a 5, not to a PS4 Pro. Yeah, we need to annihilate that. And I also wondered if, as well, whether Xbox and Microsoft pulled a bit of a crafty on this, because they said we're releasing a new console, we're doing a mid-gen console. Sony thought, right, we'll do a PS5 Pro, but all Xbox have done is a digital Series X white one. And I thought, I wonder if Sony have jumped on thinking they're doing one, we need to do a Pro again. I just don't think it's the right thing to do, especially with the news coming out, the 6 is in production and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the step-ups are small anyway. We went PS2 to PS3, where you went to HD, and you went from PS3 to PS4. But at the start of the gen, everyone was thinking, that's not that much of a jump. By the end of the gen, you could see the difference. But then once you get the Pro in, like you say, if we'd have gone from a HD 1080p PS4 to a 4K all singing PS5, we'd have gone, wow, this is a jump. Slap that Pro in the middle. Can you
imagine what that jump would have felt like as well? It would have been extreme.
It'd have been PS2 to PS3. It'd have been, and you just think,
which is what we wanted.
And don't get me wrong, with me and you always spoke about the Pro. We loved the Pro, but as a consumer, we loved it. But as a product, you're now thinking you're cutting your nose off to spite your face, because there isn't going to be that much of a jump to your next console. And at the moment, I just don't think this. If anything, if they were going to do a Pro, wait till next year when you've got 2 or 3 first-party games coming out with like a Pro patch on, so to give you that option side by side. Oh, hang on, that looks really good. If it would look that different, I don't know. Is it for me?
The one thing
what?
Sorry, RGT.
No, so I was just going to say, and another thing I thought of as well, and I know if Seb was here, he would probably laugh his head off. I'm thinking of saving that $700 and waiting for the Switch 2.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You're going to get some change. You're going to be able to buy a couple of games as well. I think
that's where my money will be going. I'm quite excited for a Switch 2. I've really enjoyed my Switch. And I don't think I don't want to buy. I've already bought consoles. I've bought console this gen. I've bought other consoles as well, older ones as well. I've bought, always wanted, got them, and then just thought 6 months down the line, why have I bought that? And I'm afraid I feel like I would do that with the Pro, so I'm going to hold off and wait for a Switch 2.
Okay, bold talk. If you're listening, Mark, Cerny, you best get some games for RGT to get wet about.
Yeah, but saying that, you get 3 weeks down the line. I've pre-ordered a Pro, best console ever. I've got 2.
I'm genuinely prepared for that. Okay, hit us up with this next bit of news, RGT.
Sorry to bring up. Pump up the new Martyr. We've been keeping an eye on the upcoming survival horror game Numata for a while here at the UCP, and although it's been delayed indefinitely over the last few weeks, it's finally got a release date of this Friday, September 20th. Why are we so interested? Well, first, it looks cool, and it also describes itself as one of the scariest psychological horrors in years. Ooh. If you're going to make a claim that bold, you're going to get our attention. In the game, you'll play as a detective who's forced to solve a series of murders while fighting off the horrors that lurk in the shadows. It's said to be terrifying enough to scare even the most seasoned of horror game fans, offering up gruesome scenarios around every corner, along with upending feeling of tension and helplessness. As mentioned, Numata will be available on Xbox Store this Friday for Series X and Series S, but we don't know what the price will be just yet. It's also strangely listed for Xbox One, even though the publisher is only mentioning the X and S. It might be worth setting a reminder to check the new games section of your console store of choice later this week. Just a quick one then. So this isn't going on Games Pass. This is just for store selling.
Not on the information provided to me at time of going to press, although I did mean to. So the question from me to you is, you'd love a horror game.
Obviously, I'm a bit wimpy with horror games, but I like them, but I'm a bit wimpy. I have to have Mrs. RGT next to me, sort of gently cuddling me and putting a wet flannel on my head.
Okay, so just to... You see, this is why I get a bit nervous, because the game's apparently scheduled for release on PlayStation 5, that I can believe. It's scheduled for release on Microsoft Windows, that I can believe. It's scheduled for release on Xbox Series X and S, that I can believe. The one I pour scorn on, it's not even in the main article. It's allegedly, according to the publisher, we're set to see a Nintendo Switch and Xbox One release. From what I've seen, mate, there's no way that's written on Switch. Absolutely not a chance. So, yeah, put your little portable console that could in the bin and enjoy this on Series X or PS5 would be my imagination. You grab me because
terrifying.
It looks so good, and I implore everyone to go and check it. I'm not really a horror guy, but I know that the vast majority of our listeners and gamers in general love a good horror game. And in terms of the visuals, I actually think this has got a really compelling argument going on. So yeah, check that out. Feedback to us, co-host Bobby, if you're out there working to free us. This is right up your street, champ. You'll love that. RGT, quick one, if I may. Are there any community corrections?
I don't think there was, no. I didn't see any.
So, did we miss anything? Or do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, RGT, if I've made a complete clanger about Numata, or if misreported something in there off the Eurogamer website, or if my opinion on the leotard or the delivery of the leotard line that, felt humorous when we wrote it in the cold light of day, but in reality now I'm looking back on it, is one of my biggest podcast regrets. If they want to get in contact with us, I mean, what I saw visually, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms
you're not the one wearing it. I'm seriously chafed now. It's hot in here. I mean, if I'm honest, it's ripped me in two.
How would the collective masses get in contact with us and let us know that we're just two flaming galahs?
I will just say as well, and damn well this is going to happen because there's always pictures appearing me on Discord which have been edited. There's going to be one of me in a.
They've been allegedly edited, BTW. I'm not overly convinced that they've been edited that much.
My head on a Greek statue and blah blah blah. But anyway, if
that's available in the download section of the Discord, should you want to set that as your wallpaper on your phone,
which you don't do.
I have it.
I can understand that, but for any normal person, no, don't do that. So if you want to contact us, it's questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com or DM us on Instagram or Twitter /X if you want to.
Do you want a deep cut? Do you want a deep cut?
A deep cut? Mm-hmm. Only if it's deep, not just deep.
Yeah, I think this scratches that itch.
Okay.
This will certainly reach far enough into you to dust cobwebs that haven't been dusted in a long time.
Okay.
Bonus. News.
Okay.
Bonus. News. Yes. Okay. It's a bonus news. Guess what, RGT? Did you
What?
ever wish that you were a famous video star?
What? Like the song? Video killed the radio star? That?
No, not like
Something?
that. Just a
No?
straight question. Did you ever wish that you were a video star?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah.
Well, guess what?
What?
You are, because all 238 episodes of the Unofficial Controller Podcast are now available for download on YouTube. The full back catalogue. That includes the inevitable Halloween specials. That includes Christmas with UCP. That includes all the console retrospectives. That includes all the highbrow industry insider knowledge, plus interviews from a slew of gaming celebrities. Ashens, Slopes Games Room, Middle Age Gamer, Mike Rouse, Bitwave Games, Greg from Forever Skies, Harvey Retro, and many, many more, including Elliot Cole, Raw Talent.
I'm trying to figure some more. Dan the Games Man.
Dan the Games Man, and
There
our
we go.
very own
Bang.
Scotty Marathon Gaming with his
Yes.
Switch 2023 buyer's guide. Listen, I know, much like the next man, that you're all YouTube addicts. Well, if you take just a quick moment to slip by what we're viewing as our Top Gear repeat run on Dave over on YouTube,
Dave.
or Dave and You as it's now known, you can lose yourself in all 239 episodes, because this will be going up there at your leisure. Stick it on in the background while you make sweet love to your partner of your choice, animal, vegetable, or mineral.
Or inflatable.
I kind of class them under mineral.
Yeah, fair point.
It's made of mineral resources, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Inflatable mineral. Just for you. Put your knees together. Put your knees together, goddammit. I'm sick of seeing it.
Why are you selling this like a local radio advert? This is like the Christmas local radio advert. Come down to your local furniture store.
That
and
was
get
my
a special
intention,
offer.
I'll be honest. You took the wind right out my wings.
It was brilliant. I just thought I'd suddenly got onto local radio.
Middle-aged gamer. From Forever Skies. Yeah. That's where I was going, but my memories banks ran out. Oh, and the Immortal Ashens live on YouTube. So yeah, listen, guys, we know that you've supported us on every platform we've ever dared poke a head onto, and historically we do have a presence on YouTube, but I'll be honest with you, we're an audio show. We do get supporters from the community and the listeners, and that's great. And that's very generous of you. But there's absolutely zero amount of money in there for me to be able to go back and CGI Farmerton into the background of a hastily created video of me and Tom flapping our mouths around to the Series 1 audio drama that we created. So, yeah, it's going to be a good place to go. It will always be on there, which is probably one of the best takeaways for me, because podcast hosts come and go. But cataloging, curating, and securing the podcast's legacy, especially as we move forward into 2025, I think is probably one of the most important things for the show and our listener base. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the people that are discovering us via a totally new medium. If this is your first episode, humble apologies. If you've got this far and the audience retention stat probably says not. But we do definitely have the proof now that our wheelhouse RGT, and this will make you feel young, we're predominantly preaching to an audience of 25 to 34-year-olds.
Wow. That's when I've got nearly a 20-year-old daughter. That's that's unbelievable.
I thought you were going to refer to your little wee bag that you have, and how you have so little in common with the target audience of the show. I have to admit, mine needs emptying as we approach the back end of the show. So thank you to everybody involved. Obviously, there are ways to support the show, but remember, it will always be free. You have my word on that. We're never going to be someone that hides behind a paywall of any kind, well, apart from one section of the Discord, but not the content. That's always available for you at the same time as everybody else. No paywalls here, sir. Well, apart from that one, but predominantly no paywalls. RGT.
Yes.
Do you want to just? Do you want to throw on some of those laundry clothes? Because there's some court robes down there you could probably squeeze into. Just pull the hood down over your face, and I think we can bring pasta in and him not know that you're,
All right,
one of his escaped victims, so to speak.
Hang on, let me just get at this.
No, leave. Just put the robe
stuck
on top of the leotard. Jesus Christ!
No, get my leg stuck. Hold my leg. Look, get my leg up on your shoulder.
I don't want to touch you right now. Right now, it looks like I'm watching Debbie McGee folded into a see-through Perspex box.
This is hurting now. Oh, right, hang on. I mean, these robes are tight. Jeez, they're tight. Okay. Right, I've got my head up. Jeez. Right, where you go?
That's not a robe.
What is it?
It's Pasta's sock, you bloody idiot.
Oh, God. It's really hurting. Hang on. I'll pull it off.
It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Pasta Longhorn smock. What's nestled between some cult paraphernalia? Just make the best of it. Put a wig on or something. What's nestled between some cult paraphernalia and a dodgy copy of Battlefield Earth this week? These are new release highlights for the week September 23rd to September 29th, 2024. Listeners, these are out digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast's in your feed, but could be. I am being deadly serious now. It could be region dependent. RGT.
Yes.
Seeing as you're in costume now, and you have your nether regions covered,
well, bit.
Just put them away.
I'm hot.
Well, let's see what Pasta thinks. Give him a reach around and pull out what you can find.
Hang on then. I have. Hang on. All right. I've got Ara. I would say it's pronounced like that. Is it Ara? Ara? Ara?
Do it as you need.
Ara. Ara.
No, do it that other way and then go deadpan into History Untold, because I think that would be quite good.
Ara. History Untold. PC, Xbox Series X, September 24th, 2024. Build a nation and lead your people throughout history to the pinnacles of human achievement as you explore new lands, develop arts and culture, conduct diplomacy, and go head-to-head with your rivals to prove you are the greatest ruler ever known. It's your world now.
Sweet looking game. I'm very interested in. But let me reach into his smock, grab out this. That is not what I expected to find.
Yeah, that wasn't a game.
This is a game. It's Disney Epic Mickey rebrushed. Probably why you didn't recognise it on the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Oh, God. September 24th, 2024. Embark on a magical journey in Disney Epic Mickey rebrushed. Shape your adventure with a stroke of a brush and transform Wasteland as Mickey Mouse in this beautifully recreated 3D platformer. This looks astounding, guys. I have to say. I saw. So
this is like the Wii game, isn't it?
This is the Wii. Came out in a lot of formats, if memory serves, at that time. This is that game remastered, for want of a better word, and I saw some footage of it probably a solid month ago now, of it side by side, and it was never a bad looking game. RGT. It's never a bad looking game. In fact, one could argue with the art style and all. A really beautiful game of that era. One that was often overlooked, but actually was a pretty strong 3D platformer. It now looks so good. So good. So clean, so well presented. It just almost looks like a different game. It's not, obviously, if you played the original, you're going to feel very at home here. But if you've never played it, you will be in for a very nice surprise. 3D platformers, probably on the back burner these days, but Sony have proven that if you're good enough, or your game's good enough, it can still be well received to this day. As Seb said last week, Game of the Year contender, the Metacritic is starting to solidify down on quite an astounding number. Who'd have thought that at the turn of the year? But there you go. RGT, what's your next thing out of Pasta Smock?
Let's have a look around here. This one's stuck in one. Hang on, got it out. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Nintendo Switch, September 26th. The people of Hyrule are being stolen away by strange rifts that have appeared, and with a certain swordsman among those missing, it's up to Princess Zelda to save her kingdom. Team up and the mysterious fairy Tri and use the power of the Tri Rod to learn how to create echoes, imitations of things found in the environment. You can then recreate those echoes whenever you like to solve puzzles and defeat enemies. Now, this sort of had the very similar, almost looks like the engine that they've done the other Zelda.
Agreed. To be honest, as good as this will be,
Link's Awakening, that's it.
Yeah, as good as this will be, no doubt, it is really starting to feel like they're just cramming out anything they can get out now between now and Christmas, because they did say they were announcing the Switch 2 by the end of the financial year, or their financial year, which I did read, would mean they would have to come to market very, very soon with an announcement. So they're just getting this out to get the last bits of wind in the sail of the Switch, I suppose, before people start to switch off from buying games and start switching on to saving money in a bid to buy the next system.
Yeah,
I think this will be a nice game if this Switch 2 is backwards compatible, as the rumours in the industry suggest it will be. Might be a good time to pick it up. I was going to say reduced, but do Nintendo games ever get reduced? No.
Well, by a buck after 10 years.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of the games, when I went on a little bit of a Switch mission last year, a lot of the second-hand games were more expensive than their new equivalents.
Yeah.
Sealed and wrapped.
Yeah. I saw, I remember when I first got my Switch and Mario Kart, they were actually selling in game at £1 more second hand than a sealed copy. Hence, purchased the sealed copy, but I didn't quite understand.
Hence that game shop closing down.
Yeah.
Because if they had actually sold that for 50p less, only 50p less, they would have sold more of their used copies, which would command a hell of a lot more profit within them than the new version.
Which
but
is
what they're teaching
basically
the consumer
zero
to do there is to get the new sealed version.
Yeah.
How odd.
Yeah.
And now in recent months, they've hemorrhage sold all of their used stock, which is probably a lot of where their capital was tied up. I can't get my head around the business decisions being made at game in the UK. But do you know what?
It's probably made by non-gamers, that's the problem.
Well, I would say the flagship stores that you and I have been in have shown a significant upgrade in the point of sale, in the display areas, in the tills section, in the general display of the games and related geek tat. Because I think we went into one in Manchester RGT, and the wall of Pop Funkos, whatever they're called, was staggering. Probably could have been seen from space. How many of them they sell on a day, I do not know. But yeah, the whole place seems to be... When you go in game and the first thing you stumble across is a Fortnite-themed Nerf gun, you kind of got to be wondering if you're in the right place.
And also, you know, in my area, you have to walk through 2 floors of a Sports Direct store before you get to the little broom cupboard in the corner that's got a few figures in and half a dozen Switch games and PS4 games in the corner. And you can literally look around it in 2 sweeps and you're out. And you just think, is it really a video game store anymore? Or is it a little tiny corner of Sports Direct, which is a toy store with a couple of video games in? It's, it's not what it
well,
not
Sports
what it
Direct, one would imagine that next year the video games will be underneath the football studs and the squeezy drinks bottles and the rather large Sports Direct mug that most people store pens on in their office, in their house.
Yeah.
What's your pasta?
I think you might have sold Epic Mickey to me, I think.
Well, that's what I do. I come in and sell people tap they don't want. So I'm going to take a History Untold. Or am I? Yeah, I think I am.
You've got to say, hurrah, History Untold.
I don't think I've got it in me.
After singing the Hidden Gem theme tune, you can't do that.
Done. I built up a level of kind of stamina previously, and it's not around anymore. So before Pasta's just going to go off in the corner and tune up his banjo. I think I got a little bit carried away at a sing-song last week, and he did say that I'd broken his banjo string. I told you
before, you need to slow down. You go so hard on it. If you keep going that hard, it will snap.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a ukulele.
So you're really strumming hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen if you strum them really hard. Twang, they're gone.
Yeah, he swore and hobbled off.
I'm not surprised, because if you're in the wrong place, with that snap, that can hurt.
If you want this pain to end, I suggest you support us on Buzzsprout. Just click the link at the bottom of the show. Tiers are as follows: $3 for a readout on every show, $5 for a readout on every show and Art Merch yearly. 8 hours? No, don't give us time. Give
hours.
If you'd like to give us the money, please do. $8 is going to get you a readout on every show, Art Merch yearly, plus access to the Unglorious chat. $10 is going to get a readout on every show, Art Merch yearly, plus access to the Unglorious chat and a quarter of the Zoom chat with hosts. Where do I think you should be? It's up to you. I mean, you can get on board for as little as $3. I think if you want to engage with the community and go a little bit further, $8 is the sweet spot.
Get a t-shirt at any tier. So.
A t-shirt at any tier, no matter when or how you subscribe up. This year we launched our support system, which we're very grateful for the love and support we've had to this point. But if you want to get on board with that, you've missed the early adopter phase, the early adopter boxes, all those limited edition goodies. But what we will give you is a t-shirt immediately the minute you subscribe. So in a way, we're supplying clothing for less than Primark. One would imagine that's a pretty good deal, RGT.
Definitely, without a doubt.
And for as little as your weekly coffee spree in Costa, one day of your weekly coffee spree in Costa, just forgo the coffee tomorrow. Sign up, job done. The missus will never know. Or the hubby will never know. Or your parents will never know. Yeah, I encourage stealing parents' credit cards. Disclaimer, no, I don't.
I'm glad you added that in.
We're in a dangerous era of the show. I almost didn't, but then a wave of guilt came over me and thought, better throw a disclaimer in there because that is theft. And we don't encourage that on the UCP. We encourage you to be kind to your human brothers and sisters. I have in front of me a list of the very fine people that support the show on a monthly basis. And as part of their perk, we're legally obliged to read their name out.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say is I will do a fat Zangief unless you're feeling particularly orgasmic.
I did wonder who was going to fall onto that one. I was probably outdone my performance with me History Untold. So
is that it?
I reckon. Yeah, that's all I can do.
Okay.
So.
Let's get stuck in then. Straight away with our friends in New York, Trestles, fine restaurant on 5th and Broadway, I think, from memory. We hosted a show from there. Go check it out on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm. On the tube, as they say.
The tube.
On the tube. We've got Bada Binkster.
Which means I get the beautiful Tingle Tuna.
And we've got the awesome Digital Monkery.
Are you in the cupboard with him now, or?
I'll keep trying to get in the cupboard, but obviously I'll just keep getting pushed away. I just want to join in.
Put a baseball cap on, backwards.
Yes. That's
immediate access.
Who does our Challenge Accepted, which is the Worms game. If you're on Discord, check it out. Get on Challenge Accepted because people are chucking their time.
And if you were in the tier where you got access to the Inglorious chat, you would get the heads up
in there about what the next challenge is going to be, so you can start practicing early.
Yes.
If you're not in there, you'll find out at the turn of the month. Feel free to join the Discord. All the competitions are free to enter, and you get a sticker which is created by the wonderful, beautiful, and talented Mrs. Digital Monkery.
Yeah, beautiful stickers. Yeah, you're up next.
Roast Space Monk.
We've got the Game and Graham.
Bald Border.
Boba.
Going Brown. Get in the Discord if you want a bit more of the backstory. Marathon Gaming.
Seal Master Elliot.
This has worked well, which means I get my beautiful red-headed stepson, Ginge.
I get the gorgeous Emma Sharp.
Off the apps officially now this week, so congratulations, Emma, on that. Oh, and Emma, thank you, actually, because you have worn your UCP merch out in the wild. You looked absolutely wonderful outside Gainsborough Old Hall, just on the edge of Farmerton itself. I went there on a school trip. Never in my wildest imagination did I imagine that a listener of some podcast I invented at some point in time in the future would be wearing merch in the very area I walked as a prepubescent 12-year-old. Congratulations. Thank you.
What a brilliant little story. Yeah, it's you next.
No, is it?
Yeah, I've done Emma Sharp.
I get the immortal Lord of Darkness, Harvey Retro.
I get Nowhere Near Berlin, the wonderful Greg.
Which means I get Mumsy.
I get the RGT fan club.
Which means I get to get myself a slice of the immortal Pete Brocklehurst.
I get the wonderful Billy Marmite.
Who is Billy Marmite? Which means I get Simon Pryke, and I need to keep my teeth in because I get... I'm not going to do it like Seb. I'm going to do my own interpretation, Pat Zangief, if that's okay with you, sir.
Oh, get prepared, listeners. Here we go.
Pat Zangief!
My God. I apologise for that. We've then got the...
I'm a method actor, darling. I had to get into the right mindset for that.
Sure you did. The next one is the One Man George fan club, which is Carlos.
I love you, Carlos. You get the RGT fan club. Carlos is the one man. We need another fan club. We need the Seb club. We need the Bobby club. We need the Marathon club.
We certainly do.
So let's get some equal love spreading. I don't feel like I'm the only gluttonous pig on the show. Well, I know I'm not, but you know. And that also means that I finish beautifully with the immaculate firm returns.
Yes.
Thank you to each and every one of you for your kind support each and every month.
Without a doubt.
Also, you guys, thank you for your support on the Discord. To anyone out there listening on in the cheap seats, don't think that we don't love you. We do. In fact, I see every single last one of you. And if I've been having an impact on your life for this amount of time, thank you for listening. You're amazing. And if you ever want to talk to me or any of the co-hosts on the show, please use one of the communication methods, the Discord, the Instagram, the Twitter, or whatever the kids are calling it now, the sex. Hit us up on the show's email or join the Discord. Either which way, thank you so much for all that you do, every single last one of you. I mentioned Nigeria last week. Again, we're back in the Dutch charts in the Netherlands, so very, very pleased about that. We never leave, but we've been, charting high again, which we really appreciate. And across the world, we're featuring in charts, so we're doing something right, RGT. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's mainly confusion. I think they just click on the album out of morbid curiosity, if I'm honest with you. But, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, everyone who does subscribing. It does make a really big difference. This is something we do as gamers, as passion, but it also, as things progress and things go on, it does come with bills and bits and pieces, and a small contribution makes a big difference to us. So thank you very much indeed.
Massive, guys. And it also kind of, I'll be honest with you, it kind of props up the bank a little bit in terms of giving us a reason to keep trying to do our best for you. We're hoping to change some things around as we approach as we head into 2025. Hopefully more details to follow about that as we get to the new year. There's plenty to be excited about. And you are instrumental in the building of the foundations for the next level of the show. See it this way. We're building a building and you're going to get your name etched on one of the stones as we go up. You know, can't ask for more than that. And we're very, 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 very grateful for your loyal listening. And to those that do support, you guys are next level. I need to simmer down, RGTS. I might get a little bit emotional. No one tuned into it that. No.
Easy fella.
What are you going to hoping to play? What are you going to maybe hoping to get into next week, sir?
Well, like I say, I am away next week, so I've been saving Astrobot to play.
Hang on a minute. This is another level of decadence as far as I'm concerned, because traditionally you've used handheld devices while Mrs. RGT drives you.
That will be happening, yeah.
To your said location of holiday of choice.
Mm-hmm.
No splitting the drive-in, nothing. You get in the back with your little gamer pillow around your neck, your travel pillow, and you basically stick your pacifier in and knock yourself out on your handheld device.
Get a Calpol if I get a headache. So,
okay, yeah, nice. Pour a little bit in the spoon, neck the bottle, pull the spoon amount back in the bottle.
That's how I roll.
I remember that's how Lister measured out his curry powder. So this next level of decadence is you taking what, the whole shed on tour, or what's going on here then?
If you're on the Discord, I'll upload a picture of my holiday setup when I'm there.
Oh God!
And you'll either say, "Geez, he needs help," or you'll go, "That's pretty cool." I would imagine there's probably a 80-20 split between 80% of people thinking he's just got an issue. There's something wrong with him.
Which camp am I in?
You're definitely in the one where I'm just odd.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, wow.
You'll be the first one. When I take a picture and I'll put it on the Discord, you'll go, "Really, RGT? Really?" I guarantee you.
I love games though, so
I know you do, but you've done it the sensible way with a Portal and bits and pieces and a Switch. Whereas, yeah, I've had to buy an estate car.
Basically employ your missus as odd job to drive you around like Scaramanga from place to place. Third nipple wearing absolute creature that you are.
Scaramanga and odd job.
In fact, I can see you get to this holiday destination and you piecing together your video game system, whatever you're going to play on, an assembled tat of pictures that you showed as you dragged out the arse end of your shed. There's my swear word. The arse end of your shed this week. I can see you sort of unscrewing the pistol grip of your Mad Cat's pistol and then sort of screwing that into the back of a Spectrum.
Oh my God. Scaramanga and odd job. Wow.
Get me an AI image of that at the rush in the Discord, please.
No.
Keep the AI images in the general Photoshop malarking coming on. I love it when it happens.
They are quite funny, yeah.
And it's the only place, I guess, that people can go see this insanity that we talk of, I suppose, all these AI pictures that the community create of the shenanigans we've talked about on the show. Okay, so we've framed.
Yeah. So, but literally, I've basically got a few games on different systems to play. I'll show you those. So, what are you?
Are you taking the Evercade?
You'll see when I
get a bloody grip of yourself. That's my
I told you. Look, you said it before you've even seen the picture.
I just There's more games consoles going than clothes.
Look, I've got a couple of pairs of pants. That'll do.
That's 4 days.
Well, 2 weeks, depends on how you view it. But what are you hoping to play, George?
What am I hoping to play? I think I'm going to get myself into Astrobot over the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to carry on flying around Star Wars in my little Star Wars simulator, aka Star Wars Outlaws. I think I'm probably going to need to dust off Like a Dragon and get that finished because I keep playing with it and I'm enjoying it. It's probably just not my favourite Yakuza, but that might change in the end game. I've enjoyed the little surprises and the pops, but I'm just in two minds about this turn-based. I like it, but I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it. I don't like it, but I kind of like it. I also need to get stuck back into, although I'm going away myself next week because we've got the, I believe, your hosts for format this year to represent the Unofficial Controller Podcast and myself. RGT's on his aforementioned holiday. So from the UK contingent, Scotty from AKA Marathon Gaming will be joining me representing the show. On that note, RGT he is in possession of UCP t-shirts, I guess. I guess the logistics of getting him one now might be a host shirt now might be a bit tight.
When is it? Next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can do that. I can do that.
Do we need to do that?
I'll do one anyway.
We're talking circular logo with the blue swoosh with Scotty in there.
Yeah, I can do that.
We'll take this off air. The fans don't need to hear about this. But if you want to meet us and see the aforementioned t-shirt that we're talking about dressing Scotty in and kicking him through the Liverpool doors for format with the awesome Simran and middle-aged gamer guy, you need to be there. There's a discount code. Check our socials for that. If not, get in contact with me and I'll send it to you in a DM. But yeah, format round the corner, so I'll be taking the Switch with me as well, because we're going to roll that into, I think on the next day, we want to scratch our Beatles itch, go have a look at the Cavern Club and, Penny Lane and all that drivel, as the day presents itself, really. I haven't looked into how close they are. It's probably a 4-day trek from one to the other, in which case that'll be in the bin. And I'll just listen to the Let It Be album. But yes, there'll be some Switch action. I think I'm going to sink myself into the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster while I'm away. It's just a couple of nights. So one of the nights I'll be completely inebriated and wetting myself. So it's just one night of Pixel Remaster activity RGT. Just to clue in everybody at home. And I think I might continue my Bret Hart playthrough on... I might do that tonight, actually, on Wrestling Empire on the Switch by the immortal M. Dickey. M. Dickey interview available on YouTube.
Oh, local radio's back.
And all good podcast providers. And I think, really, in all honesty, I probably bared a little bit too much there. If you come into format, can't wait. Shoot me a DM so we can make a bit of a fuss of you when we're there.
Yeah, great night.
If not, hopefully next year we'll be able to start announcing some dates for our personal appearances next year. One day we're going to do our own RGT. We're going to do that UCP live.
Yeah, that needs to happen, that.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
I think that's probably job list project 472 UCP live. But yeah. Well, to that end, RGT, is that all we've got to talk about? Is there any community news that I've missed that we need to maybe bring up or make a bit of a fuss of, sir?
Don't think so, no. I think we've covered it all. We've done challenge accepted in bits and pieces, so I think we're all there, right? Okay.
Well, I tell you what. You get back in the, because Pastor's going to come in a second and tune up the band.
Hang on.
No, take that off. Take that off.
Why?
He counts them in and out.
Oh, hang on then. Let me just...
I'll be honest, RGT, I never actually imagined you would be squeezing into one of his used prophylactics. He does try and be kind to the environment, so he kind of washes them out. He's a big chap, but I never expected a man to wear one like that.
When in Rome, I suppose. Right, let me get that in this laundry basket. Hang on, let me get... Oh, right. Chuck them old pants on me head. Cover me up. Chuck them old pants on me head. Cheers. Thanks so much. Ciao.
Okay, awesome. Right. Okay. And that's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. I look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT. Take it away, Pastor.
George and Seb rolling down the road. RGT riding shotgun, a heavy load. Pastor Longhorn waiting to unfold. In El Paso, Texas, tales been told. One arm big, a sight to see. Pastor preach, set you free. George and Seb, they bend the knee. RGT nodding yes in glee. Join the cult in El Paso town, where Pastor Longhorn's got his crown. One arm high, the other down, we're the wildest show around. Sunday's hot, the desert air. George and Seb both feel the glare. Longhorn's words hang everywhere. Salvation found without a care. Sunday's hot, the desert air. George and Seb both feel the glare. Longhorn's words hang everywhere. Salvation found without a care. RGT plays a sacred tune underneath